Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Savage Motoring, and today what we're going to be doing is starting the build on the Subaru. Now I know technically I already started on it, but like I said in the last video, I really want to start documenting everything. So I'm going to go ahead and mark today as the day that the build actually starts. From this day forward, I really want to try to document everything that I do to the car. And my goal is to put out at least one video a week on the car, at least doing something. May not always be the most entertaining or like the coolest parts of the build, you know, like putting the motor together or building the motor mounts. Sometimes it may just be something really simple, like maybe I need to do some wiring here or there. But that's just because I'm a normal guy. I have a regular Monday through Friday 9 to 5. I don't make a lot of money, so I can't always be buying parts and stuff. And always putting out, you know, awesome badass videos doing cool shit. So today's gonna be one of those videos. I'm not gonna really do anything too crazy. I'm pretty much gonna be updating you guys on what I've done since the last video. And today we're actually gonna be prepping the car to start stitch welding it. But in preparation for the stitch welding, I went ahead and picked up this wire brush right here. It's a Craftsman, pretty standard. I made sure I got the one with that chuck on it. I think it's like a 1/4 inch. That way it fits in my impact drill. And I went ahead and picked up some .035 Lincoln wire for the welder. Now I know flux core isn't preferable doing any kind of work. It's always better to have MIG. At the end of the day, a weld is a weld. If it holds and it looks somewhat decent, I'm okay with running the flux core. There's nothing wrong with running flux core. I know I said I was going to do a little update on what I've gotten done since the last video. It's not a whole lot. Pretty much all I've done is there's some wires that we're running right here still for like the front ABS sensors, a couple other like small things. I went ahead and pulled all the little clips off, pretty much unwired it, and now I only have 2 wiring harnesses right there and right there. Really just hanging out of the firewall. Another thing I did was right here there was a huge block, and that's for the ABS system. I went ahead and pulled that box out. What I'm planning on doing is getting just one of the ABS little delete thingies. It's pretty much just a little block that gets rid of all the electrical crap of the ABS. So that way it's pretty much just connecting the 2 lines to the other 4 lines. And besides that, the only real update that I have is I got a throttle body for the LS1 intake manifold. I guess let's go ahead and start wire wheeling all the seam sealer and getting it ready for the stitch weld. Let's get to it. Alright, so here's the progress so far. You can see I went down to metal pretty much all down here, all up there, all the way around here, up there, up to right there. So this is only about 5 minutes in, if that. The impact drill with the wire wheel is definitely a good combo. If I do decide I want to start welding today, I'm going to go ahead and mark it out with like a Sharpie, and I'm going to go ahead and start welding, and I will record that. So I just took off all the junk that was up here on top of like the windshield wiper cowl. So I'm getting ready to pull that off so I can get behind on the shock tower on both sides and wire wheel all that. But I just found a box of 22. You know you live in the South when you have a box of 22s chilling on your wiper cowl. Oh, that's a fucking fail. So I'm going to try to zoom in on this. One thing about this generation of Impreza, I don't know if it's like all Imprezas or if it was just the WRX or just, you know, the WRX and STI or whatever. But they're plagued with this issue, and it's a pretty common problem. But you can see, if you look at that little rusty spot weld right there, that's pretty much where my clutch bracket is welded to. I'm actually surprised that it's only one spot that's rusty. Usually the whole bracket ends up breaking off, but that's going to be another issue that I'm going to be tackling once I pull the dashboard out. Is you pretty much have to reinforce the firewall and weld like a plate to it. But now that I got the wiper cowl off, I'm going to put the wire wheel back on the impact drill, and I'm going to try to get all these spots around the shock tower. Alright, so I'm having some issues getting behind the shock right there. There's not a whole lot of room between the firewall and the spot that I'm trying to weld. So I think what I'm actually going to do is unbolt the 3 bolts for the shock and just let it drop. Alright, so the shock didn't drop completely, but I think that should give me enough room to get the wire wheel in there and try to hit it up as best as I can. Alright, so I pretty much got the entire shock tower all the way around as best as I can. There's still a little bit of seam sealer right there, so I think I might try to scrape some of that with a flat tip screwdriver. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to be reinforcing up to there anyway. I'm probably going to stop at about here. I'm going to go knock out the driver's side now. The driver's side looks a little bit easier because I don't have all the fuel lines and stuff in the way. Alright, so I pretty much got all the way around the shock tower on the passenger side. I made my way all the way around to about here, which is where I wanted to stop as far as this little loop thing goes. Coming down into like the wheel well, I only got a little bit into that. You can see like some of the weird yellowish, whitish stuff of the seam sealer. And the impact died. So I have the impact on the charger right now. In the meantime though, I went ahead and started marking out my 1-inch increments where I'm going to be laying a little bead. I think there's a couple spots I want to test out first. That way I know that the flex core is going to be fine welding on this, and I'm not going to burn any holes, or it's not going to look too ugly. So I think I'm going to hit up a couple spots like under the wiper cowl. That way if I fuck it up, you won't really see it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put the Lincoln wire in the welder and go from there. What I might do today is just try to get the shock towers done, and then what I'm thinking about doing is try to knock out a little bit every time. Alright, I got my .035 welding wire in, the Lincoln stuff with the new tip on it. Everything's tightened up, so I guess let's go ahead and see if we can get the shock tower stitch welded today. Alright, this is probably my uglier ones right here. Pretty much just testing out what the flux core is going to look like. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. Doesn't really need to look pretty, it's just stitch welding. This one is a little crummy right there, but whatever. I guess I'm going to go ahead and start, and then we'll see how it looks. Alright, it's looking pretty good so far. I did my little test tacks pretty much all the way around, stopped right here, put a little aluminum shield in between the fuel lines and the shock tower, and I'm going to go ahead and start stitch welding all the way around. Alright, I just noticed that my camera was going out of whack on the focus. Again, I'm sorry guys, I know the focus is kind of fucked up on this camera. Hopefully there was some good usable footage in there. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the wire wheel real quick and I'll show you guys what it came out like. Alright, you can see right here is where I started. This is where I was just kind of getting a feel for how it was going to go, getting my wire feed right, getting my welding skills right, I guess, because I'm a shitty welder. But started here, worked my way around, and then here's really where you will actually see it under the hood. Of course, there's a little bit of slag because it's a flux core. There's some ugly little balls right there that I'll have to knock off. But for the most part, I mean, it's just stitch welding, guys. It's nothing really crazy. But I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I'm going to keep doing it. I have a couple more spots right here. I also practice on some spots right here. After that's done, I'm going to go ahead and mark the passenger side. Make sure I have the same amount on that side as I do on this side. That's a little idea that I got from Offbeat Garage. Shout out to that dude. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. But yeah, let's go ahead and start doing the passenger side. Alright, we're getting ready to do the passenger side now. Alright, so again, I started right here, made sure that they were all evenly spaced out to match the driver's side. Welds don't look the best. Again, they have some splatter, might need a little bit of cleaning up. But overall, it wasn't really an aesthetic thing, it was really for chassis rigidity. The Lincoln flux core I think did just fine, so I think we're probably going to stick with that to do the rest of the stitch welds. The shock tower is an important one. Really this whole area is pretty structural, so I'm going to try to do as much of like the engine bay as I can. I think especially with having the heavy ass LS motor sitting up front, it's going to be a bit of a weight difference from what they originally designed it to be. So I think that the little bit of extra rigidity that the stitch welding gives it, I think will be a really nice upgrade. Alright, but that's it for now, guys. I know it really wasn't a too entertaining video. I really didn't do anything too crazy. But like I said, I want to try to do at least a video a week. Hopefully pertaining to the Subaru, if not, doing some other projects as well. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully next weekend we're going to go ahead and strip some more sealer back and continue the stitch welding process. And we can officially call this part 1 of the Subaru build. Thanks for watching.